Good morning, Bookfights. Today is Monday, February 21st, and you know sometimes you have those days where you don't feel well and you're tired because you haven't had much sleep and you look like death and you really don't want to film a video. Well, this is not one of those days. It is. It's definitely one of those days. So this week I read Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, and there really isn't a lot I can say about it without spoiling it. I certainly can't tell you about the plot. I will correct what I said in my video when I told you I was going to be reading this. It isn't set in the future. It's set in kind of an alternate reality. But not in the future. It's set kind of, the back describes it as a darkly skewed version of contemporary England. I think that's probably a really good way to describe it. Yeah, so there are sci-fi elements in it. One thing I would say is if you're expecting original sci-fi elements, you won't find them here. The actual plot, well, certainly the main sci-fi theme that runs through it is I've seen the exact plot before, but it really isn't that. The sci-fi stuff is more of a backdrop for the story, a story about identity and characters, etc. So what did I think of it? Do you know, I just thought it was okay. And I feel bad saying that. There's a lot of buzz about this book. I always hate when they put things like this on the cover. A page turner and a heartbreaker, a tour de force of knotted tension and buried anguish, which, you know, always builds. Do you know what? It's good. It's good. I enjoyed it, and I really like the characters, and I really did enjoy a lot of the themes put forward, the kind of fragility of life that's really present in this, and it was well written, but it just didn't blow me away. I just thought it was good. It was good. It wasn't anything special for me. Next week I will be reading The Wide Sargasso Sea by Jean Rhys. Very apt that I will be reading this because Julia just read Jane Eyre, and this is based loosely on Jane Eyre. It's based on Rochester's wife. It's like her story, how she came to get locked in the attic. For those of you who've read Jane Eyre, and it's kind of her life, how she became mad, and how all that transpired. So I'm excited to read that. It's only short, and I've got to read it for my course. So I just thought, since Julia was reading Jane Eyre, it'd be quite an apt thing to read. Lauren, I'm not going to answer your question about if there's a favourite edition of a book that I have, because I honestly, if there is one, I can't remember it. I don't have access to my full bookshelf that's at home, so I'm going to answer when I next go home. Your other question about used books, I love used books, and that's really, if I can buy a book used now, I do. I don't get the kind of, oh, I feel like I'm intruding on them or they're intruding on me and in my space or whatever. I kind of like the fact that other people have experienced the story that I'm holding, and it's got some history to it and who's had it before. You know, it's almost like, I don't know, all those different experiences. It kind of makes it richer for me. Last thing I want to talk about quickly before I go is the novella. I have finished sort of my chapter. I kind of just, you know how it is, you kind of just get all your ideas in your head and then you just kind of vomit them out. Metaphorically speaking, I'm not sure if that makes it any less unpleasant. But yeah, so all my ideas are on the page, and there's kind of the basis of a chapter. I just need to play with that, and I should pass that on Wednesday, which also leads me to say that I don't have anyone's email addresses. If you could all send a direct message to my DKMRGN YouTube account, I'll put a link down there. If you'll send me a direct message with your email address, and in the document I'll put everyone's email address and the order and everything that everyone's going in, so we can, you know, forward it to the necessary people. But yeah, that should be done on Wednesday, so if you can do that, that'd be great. So I'm very sorry this video is very short and very unenthusiastic, but I look like death, I feel like death, and I'm just gonna go and lie down now. Lauren, I'll see you tomorrow.